Well, second market report on a Sunday. Man, must be nice. So we do indeed have another Monday market report. This time we're covering some of the most relevant sales of post-1900 modern era of graded coins for the week. Of course, like normal, we check out the activity on greatcollections.com. It's been probably the best resource, bar none, to gauge the modern market. Now, we're a few weeks away from Memorial Day. Are we going to see a summer slowdown? I know I sound like a broken record, but I just can't but help but notice that probably we're going to be entering into what is normal sales cycle-ish type of season. All right, most big dealers and various investors and collectors, they like to take a little time off during the summer. At least that's what they used to do about 5 years ago. The pandemic kind of changed a little bit as far as the collecting behaviors of folks out there. Regardless of whatever sector of collectibles exists, it certainly changed the landscape. And the market has also fluctuated and adjusted to that. Now, the big X factor is, what are precious metals going to do? All right. PMs, silver specifically, did retrace a little bit last week. Will that play a role into what we're going to be encountering here for this summer? I don't know. Because if silver all of a sudden has become bullish because of folks' fears about inflation and the banking failures and things like that, that'll also kind of, infect a little bit of the collectible coin market as well, where we may not see any summer slowdown as long as silver stays hot. That is another big X factor that will change the game a little bit. So everything that we're going to look at today, again, everything's graded. All right. It's same as it always has been for about the last 6-7 years I've been doing this report. Everything just ending tonight on Great Collections. So a lot of the more relevant Lincoln Cent to about $50 type of listings have all just finished up or wrapped up for the day. So maybe you guys will be checking this out on your Monday morning drive, or you may check it out on a Sunday night. But whatever happens, I hope you guys have a good time, and let's go ahead and dive right into seeing what has sold here in the last, in the last few minutes. Starting out with a coin that I haven't seen in quite a while through either Great Collections or any other auction service, one that is graded so unbelievably high. But it's the 1999 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one exhibits the wide AM reverse. And it's affectionately referred to as the FS 901 in the Cherry Picker's Guide, which, by the way, the Cherry Picker's Guide is going to be coming back here in full force, I believe in August. So you could go onto Whitman's website and order those. But getting back to this coin right here, this is the, I guess, the most rarest or the most valuable of the three wide AMs that you could find from 98 to 2000, and they're certainly a very tough coin to find in Mint State full red, but we have one here. Mint State 66 red is a pretty unbelievable grade in itself, and this one ended up selling for $1,293.75. It's not the top end grade of the coin, so that's worth mentioning. This is kind of like that second sub tier of grades. Again, these appeal to variety specialists of the Lincoln Cent series, but also investors will want something like this as well. The next one that we have here is an unbelievable graded proof 1981S Lincoln Memorial Cent. It's a very common date of proof Lincolns, and this one is a perfect 70. Yeah, it's like a perfect 10, only it's a 70 through the Sheldon grading scale. It features deep cameo contrast. You have the beautiful, well-frosted devices that's offset by the black mirrory kind of like icy looking fields on this coin. It's a magnificent pairing, to be sure. Now, the grading company, PCGS, did note a Type 1, and that's simply the type of mint mark that's on there. There's Type 1 and a Type 2, so they have a little bit different shape to it. But for the perfect graded 1981S Type 1, this one sold for $2,446.88. And the next one that we have here, this is actually a rather unique coin, and I didn't know that Annex at one point did PL designations, which stands for proof-like. Now, they do it to this day, and so does NGC, and so does PCGS. So the big top three grading companies designate this on any business strike coin that exhibits kind of like the typical proof surfaces, like really dark, mirrory fields with a little bit of frost on the devices. Some of the coins may not necessarily have that cameo frost when it's designated a proof-like, but this one certainly does show that. And on a 1943S Steely cent, out of all things, makes it even more relevant. Now, the grade in general is not going to knock your socks off. It only managed a mid-state 66. Whereas any other PCGS or NGC graded mid-state 66 steel set, we're talking about a coin that's around 50 bucks. Pretty cheap, very affordable, but it's a grade that it has very high population numbers. However, this is an old Annex soap bar graded example. It says PL on there, which that's probably one of the earliest attempts to use the PL designation on a coin, and I would say this is probably like a 15 to 20-year-old Annex graded coin, so quite old in terms of the grading kind of, I guess, age. However, strangely enough, this one ended up selling for $3,947.62, which is on par with what a steel cent graded by PCGS in a mid-state 63 with a CAC green sticker would normally go for. As a matter of fact, it even goes up even higher than that, because those typically sell for about $300 to $3,500. This one is almost a $4,000 bill, so that's quite interesting. The next one that we have here is just an overall very, very good-looking, pleasing coin. And again, the grade itself isn't going to knock your socks off for the folks who are into like registry sets. 65 of this particular coin is just okay. It's just a really nice 31D is what it is. However, this one is noted to having a little bit of a unique toting pattern. It looks like it's a little bit of a wood grain, improper alloy mix type of affair going on here, but it's a 65 red, a great date, very tough to find in mid-state red. It's worth noting that this one did sell for $1,125. And then we have two unbelievable Lincoln Cent key dates. If you're at all interested in putting together a Lincoln Cent set and you're kind of a completionist, obviously there's a few coins that are going to be financial stoppers for a lot of folks. The 1922 plain no D mint mark. By the way, all these were produced at the Denver Mint, so you guys need to know that. So there were examples that ended up having no Denver Mint mark due to maybe a filled die or something to that effect. However, this one right here is, again, a supreme kind of like acquisition for any person looking to put together a complete Lincoln Cent and feel good about it. This one right here is a PCGS Au53. It's also worth noting that this is a strong reverse type. There are 4 different die pairings, and the strong reverse is the most highly coveted out of them. And this particular coin ended up hammering for $4,387.50. Such a stunner. And speak of stunners, we got to throw in a 1909S VDB. This is the consummate key date here. This is the one that everybody strives to pursue and own for their collections. A coin that is not easily obtainable if you're looking at budget. As a matter of fact, some of the low-end coins will end up costing you, somewhere close to about $1,000. And that's not an easy pill to swallow. So if you're going to go all out, you might as well shoot for the moon and obtain yourself a full mint state red example like what we have here. This thing is amazing. It's a 65 red, CAC green bean as well. This one has all of the juice, and it's sold for $9,450. So make sure you get out that that HELOC and you know, spend a few bucks into a collectible. No, I'm just kidding. I don't condone, you know, actually taking out a second mortgage or refining. So that way, yes, some extra cash to get something like this. But certainly save up, you know, your pennies and all of your other coins together so that way you can buy the best possible coin for what you can afford. And with a 1909S, there shouldn't be any compromises. This is a coin that me personally, I would never buy unless it's graded, because the stakes are so high, it doesn't matter the price level. Okay, so now we're on to nickels. Nickels were, you know, just a little bit okay this week. I think there's a lot of registry set examples, some kind of like key requirements for those particular collectors. Like the 1984 P right here is going to be a coin that, you know, a Jefferson Nickel set nerd is going to want, all right? And this one has it. Now, it makes the skin crawl of the community when someone drops a lot of money on a modern coin like this. $2,418.75 was the sale price, and a lot of people who aren't in the registry set collecting biz will say, well, I'd rather buy a double eagle with that kind of money. And no arguments from me whatsoever, but the registry set community is a very deep pockets, very dedicated group of people. And because grading is so hot right now, the overall community base of registry set participants is growing every year. So it's worth noting that, yeah, that is certainly a lot of money for this coin. And don't want to downplay this one either. Still on a list of ridiculous price coins. 1982D Jefferson Nickel. Again, another full steps designated coin. This time at 67 here on this early 80s. You know what I mean. That was quite a pause there, only because I'm finding it hard to find the words to describe what I think about 1980s registry set coins. But anyways, this wonderful, beautiful coin right here, this stunner leggy blonde, ended up selling for $1,693.12. Yeah, again, a lot of money here, folks. And speaking of which, wartime silver nickels are collected to the ends of the earth, ends of the world. These things are hot right now because, well, they're in unconventional composition that existed only during the, you know, the World War II era, 1942 to 45. And these, even to this day, in the highest state of preservation, is highly coveted, not just by registry set builders of the nickel series, but also collectors and investors. So this one right here, a 45P, PCGS graded this one as a 67 plus full stepper, and it ended up selling for $4,600.12. Well, again, some pretty nice coins that we're seeing here lately. Not only this week, but, you know, the previous number of weeks as well. But boy, ooh, man, this is a rarity, and mostly in part due to the fact that finding the doubled Monticello Lincoln cent, the 1939, with full steps is kind of a battle on its own. Very low population numbers here. So I was more than a little wide-eyed when I saw this one end this evening. It ended up being an NGC Mid-State 67 5FS. So it's a 5 full stepper. Beautiful coin. Again, you could see this doubling a mile away. It also notates that it's a reverse of 1940. I think they all are for this particular variety. This one sold for $6,206.62. So, yeah, pretty incredible price tag on this one, and you better believe that it might be another 6 months before we see a full steps doubled Monticello ever again. They're that rare. Let's see. We have this last Jefferson Nickel 38S. It's actually one of my favorite dates. Not so much because of rarity, but because it's a coin that is the proverbial taking your eye off the ball type of coin. It's tough enough of a date that, you know, it certainly warrants a little bit of extra attention, but at the same time, because of the 1950D, the 39D, along with a few other key cog 1950s Jefferson Nickels that require full steps, people tend to forget this one. So it's a 67 plus full steps, which is impressive. This one, ladies and gentlemen, sold for $5,906.25. It's also worth noting that Great Collections did say that there's a little bit of toning on there. And there is. I mean, nothing too wildly nutty, but, you know, it does give this coin a little bit of that extra, I guess, eye appeal to it. So, the only Buffalo nickel that we have here today is a rarity. It's a rare date, 1926D. I mean, we're all familiar with the, you know, 1920s Denver and San Francisco minted Buffaloes. They are not the best looking coins, and luster was non-existent for a lot of these dates. And you see right here in front of you a mid-state 65. That doesn't look like a mid-state 65. All right, because the way that these coins were struck, they just didn't leave a lot for the luster department on these, which is unfortunate. But still, very, very, very well collected. And again, only the most discerning Buffalo nickel enthusiasts will, you know, crawl to coins like this. It's a 65, so this one sold for $3,630.38. It's not, you know, the highest grade. Those will end up being 5-figure coins. All right, finally, we have a few Roosevelt Dimes. We actually have a trio of them, and they're all quite colorful, starting out with this 1963D. We can see why this one's on the list. This looks like an old album toner, or perhaps it was in a mid-set. You know, this looks like the prototypical type toning from a mid-set of this date. PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus. Guess what? It does not have a full torch. This is all toning all day long. There is a QA sticker, which is similar to CAC certification. And this one right here ended up selling for $1,237.50. More color to go, 1950D, you know, so a little bit tougher date. You know, this is one that even myself, I don't own a mid-state 50D. This one's pretty. Again, probably more for the toning. It's a 68 full bands. It's a top-notch grade for a registry set. This one sold for $1,048.50. And the final Rosie is a 48S. Now we're talking a little bit more tougher date here. Just keep getting tougher the closer we get to 1946. Again, this one has toning. Whether you are a fan of it or not, this is the originality that collectors want. Again, another 68 full bands, just a rocket ship of a grade. And this one sold for $1,413. All right, now we're on to quarters, and the quarters are actually quite nice here this week. We have this 1947D, very colorful coin on the obverse. I like it. I mean, it looks more watercolorish than anything else. PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus. Again, the demand for premium colored Washington quarters cannot be understated in this market that we're in right now. When nobody can find the best colored Franklin half dollar or Walking Liberty or Morgan dollar or anything around that kind of level, they'll gravitate towards Washington quarters as like the next best thing. All right, it's easy to see why. This one right here ended up selling for $1,125. So not too bad. It's kind of a budget type of coin. And I believe it's not the highest grade. I believe 68s are the highest for 47D. Here's the 37S, just a wildly tough date in mid-state. You're unlikely to find something like this just roaming through dealer stock. You know, and, you know, if you're scouring things like eBay and other various websites looking for a BU example of this date, you're going to end up paying $100, $200, if not more, to obtain it. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It could be a toned monster. It could be one that looks like this, and you know, various other variants. So mid-state 67 plus, very nice grade. $4,486.50 was the final sale on this one. Of course, we have this monster, 32S. It's the key date, right? You know, there was also a 32D that did sell. Very impressive. I didn't put it on the list because this bad boy overshadowed it. NGC Mid-State 66 was the grade call on this one, and I'm happy to report this is our big dollar winner for the week at $22,500, folks. Man, these things really shoot up beyond Mid-State 64. Like it's like it's not a small stair step of a climb. It's like a shoot up into the air type of climb. Yeah, the collectability on this one's real. We do have this one. I love just throwing in the random kind of Standing Liberty quarter. 1929 Philly right here is a relatively common date. Even in mid-state condition, however, at a 67, this thing's in a whole other world. CAC green stickered as well. Very impressive. Very, very gorgeous example with a lot of the luster that you would expect for such a high-end example. $3,768.75 was the final auction price for this one. And then finally, our most irrational coin of the week comes in the way of a 1982p Kennedy half dollar. Boy, it is clean though. Mid-State 67 plus was the final assigned grade by PCGS. And looking at the coin, it looks like any other 1980s Kennedy half dollar. I'm sure this came out of either a mid-set or a BU roll, which, you know, they are out there. But just the overall general cleanliness of the obverse of the coin. It doesn't have a whole lot of nicks and little contact marks. And again, that matters. And it matters even more for a registry set person looking to build a top flight Kennedy half dollar collection. So the price is wild. $3,236.62 was the final price tag on this one. Call it like it is. That's BS. I'd rather just buy a bunch of gold or, you know, just a 100-ounce bar of silver, right? That's around $3,200. Oh, man. It's just, I know. I'm preaching to the choir, and a lot of you do agree that, you know, the registry set crowd is a nutty group. And, you know, they have a lot of money to throw at these things. And if it's up to them, there's no changing their collecting, I guess, requirements or desires. It's just, it's cool to see, you know. So from top to bottom, from the rarities of the 1700s to where we're at with these new coins, the collectability is just off the charts. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one, ladies and gentlemen, on our Monday market report. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you again for all of the views and support on my channel, and I'm glad you guys love these videos, as do I. But that's going to go ahead and wrap things up. I'm your host, Sean. Again, you guys keep on collecting. Have a great week, and I will see you on the next coin video. So long.